Greetings, my crochet friends. Welcome to the channel or welcome back. I'm happy to have you here with me and grateful that you've chosen to join me for today's tutorial. Today we are learning how to make this cute pouch using granny squares. These are mini granny squares. And for this project, you will need your yarn. I'm using a 4-ply acrylic yarn. This is a variegated color. So that's going to give you these nice color changes in your little pouch here. I am using a 4mm hook. You will need 2 stitch markers and your tapestry needle as well. You will also need some fabric if you choose to line the inside of your bag. And I'm also using liquid stitch. This is fabric glue. You can also sew your little pouch together if you choose to. I will show you how to use the liquid stitch as well. All right, let's get started. Okay, we're ready. We're going to start with these little miniature granny squares. We're going to make 4 of these. Okay, so I started the first 3 and we're using 2 colors right now and a 4mm hook. If you know how to make a granny square already, you can skip ahead in the video. And because these are smaller squares, instead of doing our usual double crochets, we're going to do half double crochets, okay? So we're going to start with a chain of 4. Okay? Slip stitch into that first chain to form a ring. And now we're going to chain 2. And into this center space, we place 2 half double crochets. Chain 2. And now we will do 3 half double crochets into the center. Chain 2. And 3 half double crochets into the center. Chain 2. And again, 3 more half double crochets into the center. Okay? Chain 2. And now slip stitch into the top of the beginning chain 2 here. All right? So that gives us 4 clusters to start the granny square. We're going to cut this. I'm just going to pull that through and pull that center string. Okay, here for round 2, I'm changing colors. So I'm going to pull my new color through the corner space here. Just going to hold all my loose ends together. We're going to chain up 2. This counts as a half double. Okay, and into that same space we will make 2 more half double crochets. Chain 2. Place 3 half double crochets in that same space. Chain 1. We're going to skip over to the next space here to the left and place 3 half double crochets. Chain 2 and 3 more half doubles into the same space. Chain 1, 3 half doubles in the next space. Chain 2, 3 half doubles in the same space. Chain 1, move over to this next chain 2 space here and place 3 half double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more half doubles in the same space. All right, chain 1, and we will now do a slip stitch into the top of that beginning chain 2. Okay, that ends our granny square. We're going to cut string, and now we're ready to hide these loose ends, and then I will show you how to join together your squares. Let's find my hook. I'm sorry, my needle. And I have different size needles. I know this one is really big, but I'm just gonna hide. So I just kind of go under these stitches in the back. I'll just pull that through and cut it. And sometimes when I have 2 of these tails that are close together, I will just tie it in a double knot, like so, like that. And then I just cut it. And you can do that, especially when you know that the back of your squares isn't really going to be seen. You can just cut it. But I do like to make sure that they are secure. By going under some of these stitches. Okay? And we are ready to connect our squares. Okay, we are ready to attach our squares together, and just going to turn them over on the back. And you can arrange them any way you like, whatever colors you want to put together. I'm going to do purple, orange, all right? So I'm going to take the first 2 squares, I'm going to line them up, put the 2 edges together here, put my hook in this corner space of both of the squares, going to pull my color through like that. I'm going to hold these 2 together, and now I'm going to go under the first 2 stitches here on the purple side and go under the first 2 stitches here on the orange side as well. And then I'm just going to pull that through. That gives me a slip stitch. I'm going to do the same thing under the next 2 stitches here and the next 2 stitches on the orange side and pull that through. Okay, go under that purple, under the orange stitches, and pull that through. And you're just going to continue that down these 2 sides, keep them together as closely as you can. When you get to this space, just go under the space on both sides and pull that through as well. Okay, you're going to continue that until you have the 2 sides seamed together. And you can do this with a single crochet stitch as well. You don't have to seam them if you don't want to. There's different ways you can put them together. Okay. Okay. So there is our slip stitch seam. I'm just going to turn it over, take a look at it. Okay. And now I'm going to cut this. And just going to pull that through. And we'll deal with those tails later. And so now I'm going to do the same thing to these 2. All right. And then you'll do the same thing to the next two sides. And I will meet you here when all of those are together and you have one long rectangle. Okay, we have connected our 4 squares. This is the front and this is the back. So I'm going to turn this on the front, and what we will do now is create an edging along this rectangle that we have just made. So I'm going to put my hook into the corner space here. I'm going to grab my yarn and lay it on top of the hook and pull it through. Okay, I'm going to chain up 1, and then I'm going to place a single crochet into that same corner space where we're starting. And now I'm just going to single crochet along the top edge here. And when you get into these spaces, if you can go under both of those stitches, then I would do so. But if it's too much of a struggle, just put your single crochet right into the space and then continue on. I'm just going to go under those 2 stitches there and create a single crochet. And then here. We'll just keep going. Leave me a comment. Let me know what colors you're using for this little bag. And I did go out today and I bought some fabric to line the inside of this bag. I'm also going to make a larger purse in the granny square stitches as well. So I will come back and sit and chat with you guys as I'm working on that. That's my next project after this one. I'm really excited to get it started. And I need to find some wooden purse handles. You know, now that Joann's is closing, I'm going to have to order those handles. I used to be able to find wooden purse handles in Joann's back in the day. And I don't have anywhere to buy them now, you know? So we will see. I've been looking at some wooden handles on Etsy, and I think that's where I'm going to have to purchase them from. And I'm okay with that, you know? All right, when you get to these corners, put 2 single crochet stitches in that corner, and then just continue on along the other side, okay? So I will meet you here when we finish doing our border of single crochet stitches all the way around. Like I said, when you get to these corners, put 2 single crochet in there. Okay, and I will meet you when we finish the edge of this rectangle. Okay, I'm at the end of creating that edge, and so I'm just going to slip stitch into the beginning single crochet of that round, and now we will cut this color. Now if you want to continue with the same color, you don't have to cut yours, but I'm going to change colors here. And so now I'm going to attach a new color right there. And I'm going to chain up 1. Okay. And now we will create half double crochets in every stitch along the top of this rectangle. And when you get to the end of this row, you're going to chain up one and then turn your work and then start another row of half double crochets. And what you will do is create a minimum of 26 rows of half double crochets. So this is row 1, okay? I'm going to make 25 more rows of just half double crochets. And that's going to create the body of our little bag here. Now, if you want your bag to be bigger or smaller, you can adjust your rows accordingly. I appreciate you for joining me today. I'm grateful that you are here. I hope you are having a blessed day, a peaceful one, and that you are enjoying your crocheting. Okay. I would love to see your projects and what you're working on. You can send me pictures through my DM on Instagram, which is Illis_crochet. I wound this yarn into a ball. That's why I'm having some difficulty with it. It's rolling around. Okay, so when you get to the end of this row, right, you're just going to chain one and turn, and we're going to make some more half double crochets for the next row. So remember, we're working on the body of our little purse, our little bag here, and we are going to do 26 rows of half double crochets to complete that. I will meet you here when I have finished, or when we have finished those 26 rows. Hit the like, guys, and subscribe if you haven't already. I will be back at the end of this panel. All right, keep going. Okay, so we have completed 26 rows of half double crochet here, which makes up the body of our little purse, our little wallet that we're making, okay? And if you feel like you need more than 26 rows, you can certainly do that. It will make your little bag here bigger. And I'm just going to fold this up so you can kind of see what the size is going to be. All right. So now we are going to work the edging around this square that we've just made. So I'm going to go back to the end of that last row. I'm going to chain up one, okay? And then I'm just going to place a single crochet in the next stitch here. We're working along this side. And as you do that, just make sure that you're not putting more than one single crochet into the stitch. Make sure you're also not skipping any stitches here. And that will give you a nice straight and flat edge as we work around. Our next step is going to be, after this, we will apply the lining, the fabric, to this piece. And I'm going to do that with my liquid stitch. If you guys saw my previous video from last year, I showed you how to line or apply fabric to your crochet projects using a fabric glue. But if you prefer to sew it, you most certainly can. If you have access to a sewing machine and you want to sew your fabric onto your crochet piece, you most certainly can do that. Okay, so I'm just working along the edges here. I try to make sure I go right under the stitches and not in the space that's there. All right, I will meet you at the end of doing the edge of our square. Okay. Okay, now we have finished the panel or the square of our little purse here. And what I'm now going to do is measure it just so you can see. Now yours might be a little longer than mine, but this is about 9 inches wide and it is 9 inches long as well. Okay, so 9 by 9. And what I'm now going to do is pick out a fabric. So I have this red that I have left over, and I did iron it just so it's nice and neat. And what you're going to do is just kind of line up your crochet piece on top of that fabric, right? And you want to now fold in one of these sides like so. And I'm going to use my liquid stitch. This is my fabric glue here. There's another one called Aleene's. Any one will do, really. Whatever you have that's available to you. I would get the permanent one that can be washed and dried, that you can put into your washing machine and everything. I would look for that. Okay. And so what I'm just going to do is put some here, if it comes out, is put some here along the edge. And you might have to get like a little craft stick or a paintbrush or something to make sure that it comes out and it's nice and smooth. And I will say that once this dries, sometimes you do have like little bumps or bubbles that you can visibly see in the fabric. And if that's something that bothers you, you know, you can certainly go ahead and sew your fabric piece. But just want to lay that down. Okay. And now we have a nice straight edge here for our crochet piece. Okay. And so I'm just going to continue that on each side. So I'm going to do the same thing down here. And I may need to cut it, you know, if it's too big for my piece, my crochet piece. I'm just going to lay that there and then fold this over. Okay. So this is one option that you have. You can use the fabric glue if you don't want to sew it. I do know how to hand sew it. It just takes a long time, you know. And I'm just going to do that on all 4 sides. And if I need to cut it down to fit my crochet piece, I will do that. And so essentially, once you get that cut down the way you want it, you want to turn your crochet piece on the wrong side or on the back, and then line that up, make sure that it fits and everything. And this is going to be the interior or the lining of our bag. Okay. And I will come back. I'll show you how to glue this to the inside of your crochet piece, you're going to need something heavy or some binder clips or even paper clips, something that you can use to clip this to the fabric. Okay, so I'll be back to show you that. Okay, so my fabric and the fabric glue, these edges are now dry. And the bottle will tell you it takes about 30 minutes for the glue to dry. And so it's completely dry now. And I just folded back those edges and made them nice and straight before I glued them. And so now I've turned our crochet piece on the back. This is the front, there's the back. And so I'm just going to now put some glue onto this piece here. And I would put something under it, you know, so that you don't get glue all over your table or your surface. And I'm just going to put some glue along the edge because I don't think we need to cover the entire thing, you know. This glue is pretty strong, so. And like I said, you know, if you want to make sure you don't have, you know, visible glue on the surface of your fabric, then I would try to use as little as possible, you know, just whatever you need to secure it. So I'm just spreading that out and just get a nice even coat there along the edge. And I just feel like being neat today, not getting it on my hands. But it does, you know, just regular soap and water. It just feels like, you know, regular white glue. All right, I think I need a little bit more. And so what I'm gonna do, because I don't have all my binder clips here, I'm gonna put something heavy on top of this. So, okay, let's make sure we're on the back side. All right, and so now I'm going to put this on top and get it as straight as possible. I'm just smoothing that down. And so, you know, if you have some clips or something that you can put here along the edge just to hold it and secure it down, you can certainly do that. But I'm going to try something different because I don't have my binder clips with me, at least not enough of them. So I'm going to put something heavy on top of this. I'm going to leave it overnight, and tomorrow I'll come back and I'll show you how well it is secure. I do still have a tail here from where I finished that last row of crochet. I'm going to leave it here just in case I need it to start sewing my edges together tomorrow. Okay, so I'll come back and tomorrow we will see how well our fabric glue has worked. Okay. Okay guys, it is the next day and I placed my crochet piece under a big heavy box and it worked just as well as having those clips. So you can see my fabric edges are all nice and glued down all the way around, okay? So now what we want to do is sew the sides together of our little wallet here, our little bag. So what we want to do is turn this on the front and then fold back the body of our bag. So you want to expose the fabric here that's on the inside. And we just want to line up here where the start of that granny square flap is. This is going to be our front flap, right? So I'm just going to line this up. And if you look closely, you can kind of see the seam of where the flap is starting. So I'm just going to line that up. And now I'm going to put a stitch marker here, just so I know as I'm sewing this together, not to go past that stitch marker. So I'm sewing these two sides together. Now I'm going to take my other stitch marker and put it over here. And that is the last stitch of that row. And you can see here I have that tail from that last row is there as well. Okay, so I'm just stitching those, putting the stitch markers there so I know where to start and where to end. So now, luckily, I have this tail that was left over. And so now I'm just going to place it inside my tapestry needle. And if you need to cut a whole new piece of yarn to start your sewing, then go ahead and do that. And we're just going to start sewing this side right into where that stitch marker is. And I'm just doing a basic stitch. I think this is called a mattress stitch, which is basically you just go back and forth between your two sides. And I like to make sure I'm getting under both of the loops here on that stitch on the top and the bottom. And make sure you are lining up your edges as you go. Okay, so we're going to do that on both sides. So both sides together, and then I will come back and meet you when that is done. Okay. Just sewing this up. And when you get to the end, make sure you give yourself a nice tight knot down there so it doesn't come loose. Okay, got one more here. And so I'm just going to, I went in and I'm going to put my needle through that loop and pull it tight. And now I will hide this. I'll just go down into these stitches. And it's the same color, so we can hide it. Okay. And now I'm going to cut it, and we'll do the other side. Okay, we have sewn up both sides of our little pouch, our little wallet here. And now we will turn this back to the right side. So I'm going to just flip it inside out. And there's our fabric lining on the inside. And we'll just push it back into shape. Oh, it's cute. Okay, and we can fold our flap down. And now we have our little pouch completed. And I did intend for this to be a case to carry my hooks in and my stitch markers and all my little needles and things, my little odds and ends. Oh, it's very cute. So you could leave it like this as it is. If you wanted to put a little Velcro strip here, one here and one here, you could do that to keep it closed. You could also do a chain of yarn, like make a chain and then wrap it around to keep it closed. You could even do some ribbon as well. Let's see if I have a ribbon in, let's try some purple ribbon. I'm going to put some purple. I don't want it to be too long. I think this is cute. You could put your glasses in here. It's a little long to be a glasses case, but you know, who says you can't do that? And I'm just going to tie some ribbon on it. You could give this as a gift to a crocheter or a knitter and put a cute bow on it. Oh, that's cute. Okay, let me know how you enjoyed the tutorial and if you are making more of these as gifts and what colors you used. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe, guys, and I will see you again for another tutorial. Thank you for watching. Peace.